Ready to unlock your inner sales superstar. We're diving deep into Brian Tracy's The Psychology of Selling.
Oh, a classic.
To unearth the tactics and strategies that can transform anyone, and I mean anyone,
You got it.
into a peak performer.
And the best part is, you don't need some fancy degree or years of experience.
Right.
Tracy's insights are all about mastering the mental game of sales.
Yeah,
And that's something anyone can learn.
absolutely. It's all about mindset.
Exactly.
One of the things that really struck me about this book was Tracy's own journey to sales success.
Yeah.
It's not, your typical story.
Yeah, definitely not your straight out of business school kind of guy.
No, not at all. I mean, the guy, he drops out of high school.
Really?
Travels the world doing odd jobs.
Wow.
And kind of stumbles into sales almost by accident.
Wow, that's wild.
It is wild.
Talk about an unconventional path, though.
Totally.
It's fascinating how those early experiences, like so far removed from the corporate world,
Yeah,
likely shaped his entire approach.
I think so.
Imagine, like, traveling the globe on a shoestring.
I know, right?
You're forced to think on your feet, connect with people from all walks of life.
Yeah,
You have to become a master problem solver.
you have to.
Those are invaluable skills in sales, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You have to be resilient, adaptable.
Yeah.
And it really sets the stage for, this core belief of his, this idea that success is mental.
Right, like it's all in your head.
Yeah. And he's not just talking about like positive thinking here. He's saying your mindset is like the engine driving your sales success.
I love that analogy, the engine. It's so true.
It is. It's what drives you forward.
And there's a growing body of research to back this up.
Is that really?
Oh, yeah. For instance, there was this study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology.
Okay.
They found that salespeople who scored high on measures of self-efficacy.
Self-efficacy. Now, what is that again?
So self-efficacy is basically the belief in your own ability to succeed. Right?
Okay.
They consistently outsold those with lower self-efficacy, regardless of experience or product knowledge.
Wow. So you could know your product inside and out, but if you don't believe in yourself,
It's not going to matter as much.
it's not going to matter.
Yeah, fascinating stuff.
It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
It's so true.
And to really drive this point home, Tracy tells this, it's almost unbelievable, this story about a satellite dish salesman.
Well, this is a good one. Keep going.
So the salesman, he comes from a very humble background,
Okay.
and he's absolutely crushing his sales targets, making more money than he ever thought possible.
Good for him.
But instead of celebrating, he's like a wreck.
Oh, no, really?
He is stressed, anxious, like literally hiding from his own success.
Hiding from it. Why? What's going on there?
Because it clashed with his self-image. Like he subconsciously didn't believe he was worthy of that success.
Wow, that's deep.
It is. And it really highlights how our, these deeply held beliefs, they can either propel us forward or hold us back.
Yeah, our own worst enemies sometimes,
Totally. And when I first read that, it really made me stop and think, how often do we unknowingly sabotage ourselves?
Yeah.
Because deep down, we don't believe we deserve that success.
We don't think we're good enough.
Yeah. And that's a powerful realization.
It really is.
And it leads perfectly into, Tracy's now famous affirmation.
Okay, let's hear it.
I like myself.
I like myself. I like myself. It does make you feel good when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds simple.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little cheesy at first.
Yeah.
But Tracy's adamant that repeating this phrase,
Okay.
especially, when you're feeling doubtful or insecure,
Yeah.
can actually shift your mindset over time.
Interesting.
Like you're planting these positive seeds in your subconscious.
It's like rewiring your brain.
Exactly.
I like that.
But, Tracy doesn't stop at self-belief. He then dives right into the heart of sales,
Yeah.
emphasizing the importance of understanding customer needs.
Okay, so tell me about that.
He argues that this is like the cornerstone of ethical and effective selling.
Okay.
It's not about, being pushy or like trying to manipulate people into buying something they don't need.
Right.
It's about uncovering what the customer truly needs
Okay.
and then demonstrating how your product or service can help them achieve their goals or solve their problems.
So it's about being a problem solver.
Exactly.
I like that.
And what's interesting?
What?
He even goes so far as to say that appealing to the fear of loss can be even more persuasive
Really? More than the positive.
than highlighting the potential gains. Yeah.
Is there any truth to that?
There's actually quite a bit of research to support this.
There is.
Oh, yeah. Psychologists call it loss aversion.
Loss aversion, okay.
Yeah. Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, they did a lot of research on this.
Okay.
Found that people are generally more motivated to avoid a loss than to achieve like an equivalent gain.
Interesting.
So framing your pitch in terms of what the prospect stands to lose
Okay.
by not investing in your product, that can be incredibly impactful.
So it's like tap into that fear of missing out.
It's a little bit, yeah, like that FOMO, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It makes you think twice about what you might be missing out on, right?
It makes you think about, what you could be losing, not just what you could be gaining.
Exactly. And once you've identified those needs, you know those pain points.
Yeah.
Tracy emphasizes the power of what he calls creative questioning.
Creative questioning. I like that.
Yeah. So instead of just like, going into a big, long speech about your product,
Yeah.
it's about asking strategic questions to guide them to the solution themselves.
Oh, interesting. So they come to the conclusion on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it's a really powerful shift.
Okay.
By asking the right questions, you're not just gathering information.
Right.
You're actively engaging the prospect in a dialogue.
Got it.
You're making them feel heard and understood.
So it's about building that rapport.
Exactly. This approach aligns with what sales experts call consultative selling.
Consultative selling.
It's less about being a salesperson and more about being like a trusted advisor.
I see.
Someone who helps the customer make the best decision for their unique situation.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does, doesn't it? And this leads right into another key insight from Tracy.
Okay, what's that?
The importance of focusing on the result or the benefit the customer will experience,
Okay.
rather than getting bogged down in, like a laundry list of features.
Right, because nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to be lectured to, right?
Exactly.
Think about it this way. People don't buy products.
Okay.
They buy solutions. They buy outcomes.
They buy results.
They buy a better version of themselves, or at least that's what they're hoping for, right?
Right.
By emphasizing the tangible ways your product or service will improve their lives.
Okay.
You're connecting with their desires and motivations on a much deeper level.
So it's about painting that picture of their desired future.
Yes.
And showing them how your product is going to get them there.
Exactly. And what better way to solidify that vision?
Yeah.
Than with real-life examples of success.
Of course.
Tracy's a huge advocate for using customer testimonials throughout the sales process.
Testimonials, yeah.
He's tapping into the power of social proof,
Social proof, right?
a fundamental principle of persuasion.
Makes sense.
As humans, we're naturally inclined to look to others, especially those we perceive as being similar to us,
Yeah.
for guidance when we're making decisions.
Right. We want to know what other people's experiences have been.
Exactly. And testimonials, they provide that relatable evidence that your product delivers on its promises.
It's like that sense of reassurance you get when you read a glowing online review.
Exactly.
For like trying a new restaurant or booking a hotel.
Exactly. It builds trust and credibility,
Right.
which are essential in any sales interaction.
It's like you're borrowing a bit of their credibility, right? To boost your own.
Exactly.
But Tracy's adamant that closing the deal, that's not the finish line.
Oh, no, not even close.
In fact, he spends like a good chunk of the book on what happens after the sale.
Right. It's all about what happens next.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes the importance of building those lasting relationships,
Yeah.
nurturing those connections to, encourage repeat business, get those referrals.
It's about the long game.
It is. It's about shifting from that transactional mindset
Okay.
to one focus on like really creating long-term value
I like that.
for both parties. It's a win-win.
It makes me think about like the businesses I keep going back to, It's,
Yeah,
it's rarely just about the product itself.
It's the whole experience.
It's the service. It's that feeling of being valued as a customer
Totally.
that keeps me coming back for more.
Exactly. And that's how you turn, satisfied customers into like loyal advocates
Yeah.
for your brand.
They become like walking testimonials.
Exactly. They do the selling for you.
They do, but beyond those practicalities, right?
Okay.
Of closing deals, building relationships.
Right.
Tracy leaves us with something I think even more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
A framework for unlocking our full potential.
I like the sound of that.
Not just in sales, but in life.
Okay. I'm listening. Tell me more.
This is where he kind of zooms out
Okay.
and he talks about the importance of doing what you love.
Of course. Yeah.
Setting those clear goals and committing to continuous learning.
It's so important to never stop learning and growing,
Yeah.
right?
You got to stay curious.
Exactly. You got to keep that beginner's mindset.
But it also made me wonder,
Yeah, what's that?
what does, unlocking your full potential actually look like in practice?
It's a good question, right? Like, how do you measure that?
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
I think for everyone, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's about identifying what your unique strengths are, your passions,
Right.
and finding ways to, like, align those with your professional goals.
Okay. I like that.
Are you actually excited about the work you're doing?
That's a good question.
Do you wake up each morning feeling, motivated, challenged?
Yeah, or are you hitting that snooze button?
Exactly. And if you're not, maybe it's time to reevaluate. Consider where you can make changes to find more fulfillment and ultimately achieve greater success.
He also talks a lot about surrounding yourself with successful people.
Oh, absolutely.
And not just in sales, but in all areas of life.
Yeah, you become who you spend your time with, right?
Why is that so important?
Think of it like this.
Okay.
You are like the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Okay.
Their mindsets, their habits, their beliefs.
We rub off on you.
They rub off on you, whether you realize it or not.
Subconsciously.
Exactly. And so by surrounding yourself with individuals who are, driven, positive,
Yeah.
successful in their own right,
Yeah.
you're creating an environment that nurtures your own growth and pushes you to strive for more.
So it's about being intentional about who you're spending your time with.
Exactly. Choose wisely.
And to really drive this point home, he leaves us with this thought-provoking question.
Oh.
If you could have dinner with ANIY top salesperson in your field, who would it be?
Oh, good question.
And what one question would you ask them?
That's a great question to think about.
It is. It really makes you think about, who do you admire?
Yeah.
Who do you want to learn from?
What insights are you looking for? Yeah, that's a good one.
So there you have it. Brian Tracy's The Psychology of Selling, distilled down to its most practical and empowering insights.
It's a great book. It's a classic for a reason.
We hope this deep dive has given you the tools to not only, boost your sales performance, but also to cultivate a success mindset that will serve you in all aspects of your life.
It's not just about sales. It's about life.
It's about how to show up in the world as your best self.
Exactly.
Until next time, happy selling.
See you next time.